Good morning, guys. Keep on easy. My name is Hunt Fitzgerald. I'm chairman of the board of the Roxborough Area Chamber of Commerce. Today's breakfast is being sponsored by Person County Partnership for Children, Person County Guardian Ad Litem, and Person County Department of Social Services. We certainly appreciate you guys hosting this meeting. Look forward to the message you'll be sharing with us this morning. Take a few seconds to recognize some elected officials that are in attendance today. We have County Commissioner Gordon Powell. Where are you? There he is, right there. Mayor Marilyn Newell. Henry Daniel, City Councilman. Oh, he's at the buffet. Bring me something, Henry. Mark Phillips, City Council. Sheriff Louis Jones. Register of Deeds, Tanya Wilson. This is Margaret Bratcher, Chairman of the Board of Education. Jay Stoltz, District Court Judge. Police Chief Hess. Thank you, Chief. Also, I'd like to take a second just to recognize any emergency services or law enforcement that are on hand today. Raise your hand. Thank you for coming. All right, we're going to turn this thing over to Alicia for just a second. Let her do a few chamber announcements about things that are coming up soon.
Thank you. Good morning. This is one of our favorite coffee hours because we always know it's going to be a full house. So thank you for proving us right once again this year. We do have just a couple of announcements. You may have seen over email or social media that we do have a ribbon cutting tomorrow for a new member. That's for Heirloom, a Papa Paul Kitchen, tomorrow at 4 p.m. at their location at 117 Depot Street. If you've not been there yet, you're in for a real treat. They've got some special items that they will have on the menu tomorrow afternoon and evening. And of course, the facility has just been spectacularly renovated. It is a gorgeous space. And if you stop by for no other reason, just check it out. But again, that's tomorrow, 4 p.m., 117 Depot Street. We did put a little bit of propaganda at your table, as we always do. You can always rely on us for that. Please beware, there is a barbecue fundraiser coming up that is organized by Directors Roundtable, and there are several local groups that make up Directors Roundtable. We perform 3 functions each year. We organize Jingle on Main in December. We organize the July 4th parade on Main Street, and we also help raise money for the fireworks display in July. So this fundraiser is going to be our contribution toward the fireworks display. We'd love for you to support the cause. May 5th, Cinco de Mayo barbecue, 2 ideas that just had to be thrown together. But you've got the registration forms, or just call the chamber with any questions. And then last but not least, we've got our 20th annual golf tournament coming up May 19th. There may be people in this room who have participated all 20 years. I don't know. But we would encourage you to sign up again this year or sign up for the first time. You can play golf, you can be a hole sponsor, you can donate a door prize, you can volunteer, whatever your heart desires. We would love for you to be a part of it. Again, May 19th at Roxborough Country Club, and we can fill you in on all the details of the chamber. That is all I have. We appreciate you being here, and we hope you enjoy today's presentation.
Thank you, Alicia. I'm going to invite Ann with the Partnership for Children to come up and speak. If you've ever heard their message before, it's actually quite interesting, so hope you enjoy it. Ann?
Thank you, Hunt. Good morning. We're very glad that you decided to begin your day with us. April is Child Abuse Prevention Month, as well as Week of the Young Child. It's a time when communities come together to celebrate the bright and healthy futures all children deserve. The Week of the Young Child kickoff was Monday. However, our parade down Main Street had to be canceled due to the storms. Our Family Fun and Fitness Night was last night at Huck Sansbury, and tomorrow is the Early Childhood Professionals Appreciation Day, where we will host a banquet for all of the early child professionals in Person County. If there are any parents in the group that utilize daycare, this is the time to let that caregiver know how important they are to your child and to you. This coffee hour breakfast is one of the ways we celebrate and highlight ways to help our children be safe, healthy, and ready for kindergarten. Today is also our Pinwheel Garden Ceremony, where pinwheels help remind us of the unfortunate necessity for the prevention of child abuse. The Kids on the Hill, behind the Sheriff's Building, represent 85 substantiated cases of abuse and neglect in Person County last year. I'd like to thank Guardian Ad Litem and the Department of Social Services for being great partners in our community awareness for the prevention of child abuse. And let me highlight this little guy right here. We've handed out the blank silhouettes, and individuals and businesses decorated them to as they desired and posted them on Facebook, and it's been a great campaign. I thank Chief S for bringing in the police effort in that. So it's been a busy week, but a great time to acknowledge our children and all the people that helped make Person County a better place for our youngest citizens. So now I'd like to introduce our board president, Martha Pickett of Freedom House.
I just want to acknowledge some of the people that are here today at this breakfast and the work that they do throughout the year, kind of behind the scenes. First of all, the fellow board members that serve for the Partnership for Children, if you could just stand and be acknowledged. Working with Chris is always fun. And also the staff, the ones that really do the work. The board doesn't do a lot, but the staff at the Partnership for Children does a lot of work. And if they could stand and we can acknowledge them, they really do a lot of work. One of the agencies that serves children in this area is Guardian Ad Litem, and their focus is to be the voice of the child, no matter what. I don't know if y'all realize that, but that's their job. They are the voice of the child. Even if they disagree with everybody else who's dealing with the family, they are going to be that child's voice. They serve as volunteers. A lot of them don't get paid. They work very, very hard. They do some hard stuff. And I want to acknowledge the Guardian Ad Litem staff. If they could stand. I do have a license to practice and to do counseling, but I could not do what the Department of Social Services does with families. They have some tough jobs. But they work very, very hard here, and they have been working in partnership with us, and I want to acknowledge the Department of Social Services staff, if they could stand. I know we mentioned law enforcement before, but I really want to acknowledge them again, because they also have to do some tough stuff, sometimes with kids, sometimes with families, and that is not always easy. When you have to go in and arrest a father and there's 3 kids there and you've got to deal with those kids, that is extremely difficult. And they do it with grace, and they do it really, really well. We have never had any complaints from law enforcement about how they deal with children. I really want to acknowledge our law enforcement. If they could stand. And there is a judge here. He also has to make some tough decisions. And we have, sometimes us carrying out those decisions is extremely difficult. But I do want to acknowledge our new judge in town, Jay, if you want to stand. We've been dealing a lot with family court lately, so we're appreciative of that. I want to recognize. First, I'm going to recognize Gordon Powell from the County Commissioners. He's going to come up and read a proclamation.
Thank you, Pat. It is an honor to be here for this noble occasion today. I'm here speaking on behalf of the Person County Board of County Commissioners, and in Tracy Kendrick's absence, as we say, some people would do anything to get out of work. So Tracy is having back surgery this morning. So I'm here in his stead. But on behalf of the Board of County Commissioners, I welcome you here and compliment this fine organization for what they're doing for a very needy segment of our population in Person County. So it's a great honor that I read this proclamation that was presented and read in the County Commission Board meeting Monday morning. And it reads, proclamation by Person County Board of Commissioners on the week of the young child. Whereas the Person County Partnership for Children and other local organizations, in conjunction with National Association for the Education of Young Children, are celebrating the week of the young child, April 17th through the 21st, 2017, and whereas by calling attention to the need for high-quality early childhood services for all children and families within our community/state, these groups hope to improve the quality and availability of such services, and whereas the future of Person County depends on the quality of early childhood experiences and provided young children today. Now therefore, the Person County Board of Commissioners does hereby proclaim the week of April 17th through the 21st, 2017 as the week of the young child in Person County, and urge all citizens to recognize and support the needs of young children in Person County, adopted this 17th day of April 2017. Thank you.
Okay, and our mayor, Mary Holmstead, will read that proclamation.
Good morning. Oh, that was lame. Good morning. You've had breakfast. It's good to see all of you this morning, and as usual, we trade off and do these proclamations every year. It's not an exercise that we take lightly. It is certainly the kind of effort to recognize those of you on the front lines who are giving a voice to our most defenseless and most innocent citizens. So just know how very much we appreciate everything you do each and every day to make that possible. I'm here on behalf of the Roxborough City Council for the City of Roxborough Proclamation, Child Abuse Prevention Month, April 2017. Whereas our children deserve the best we have within us and look to us to be protectors, role models, heroes, and whereas children who are loved and nurtured grow up to love and nurture others. They give back to their own families, their neighborhoods, and their communities the good that was bestowed on them. The cycle continues, and whereas preventing child abuse and neglect is the responsibility of every citizen and community, involvement is essential to breaking the cycle of abuse. And whereas it is vital that we join together to reach out to parents and children to prevent the senseless abuse and neglect of all children. Now therefore I, Marilyn Newell, Mayor of the City of Roxborough, do hereby proclaim April 2017 as Child Abuse Prevention Month in Roxborough, North Carolina, and urge all citizens to support this observance. This was signed on March 20th, 2017. Thank you.
Now I get the privilege to introduce our speaker this morning. I just met him, but he grew up in Kinston, and they grow him tall in Kinston. I'm telling you. There have been some basketball players for all three of the four North Carolina teams. I think the next one's going to have to go to Wake Forest, so we can have one at every school. He is a lawyer. He got his law degree from Vanderbilt. Currently, he serves as the Deputy Director of the Administrative Office of the Courts. He oversees the guardian ad litem program in North Carolina. He also oversees drug court. We have a drug court here in Person County. Family court, custody court, a lot of courts that he oversees in his current job. We're privileged to have him here this morning, and I'm looking forward to his message. Please help me welcome McKinley Wooten Jr.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My job takes me a lot of places around this state, and let me tell you that what you have here this morning is not something that happens everywhere in North Carolina. The collaboration that you have in this room, and I know that it's just not in this room, the kind of collaboration that you have in this county and in this city is not something that I see all around this state. So I am pleased to be here and to share some brief comments with you this morning. But I wanted to say that because I go a lot of places and this kind of collaboration doesn't take place everywhere. And I hope that you never take for granted the fact that you collaborate with your partners and around the city and around your county. I want to open my comments this morning with excerpts from a poem that's always been a favorite of mine. Dr. Maya Angelou wrote this poem several years ago prior to her death, and she delivered it at the 50th anniversary of the United Nations. In it she wrote, she said, "We, this people on a small and lonely planet, traveling through casual space, past aloof stars, across a way of indifferent suns, to a destination where all signs tell us it is possible and imperative that we learn a brave and startling truth. And when we come to it, to the day of peacemaking, when we release our fingers from fists of hostility and allow the pure air to cool our palms, when we come to it, when we let the rifles fall from our shoulders and children dress their dolls in flags of truce, when landmines of death have been removed and the aged can walk into evenings of peace, when religious ritual is not perfumed by the incense of burning flesh and childhood dreams are not kicked awake by nightmares of abuse. When we come to it, then, we will confess that not the pyramids with their stones set in mysterious perfection, not the gardens of Babylon hanging as eternal beauty in our collective memory, not the Grand Canyon kindled into delicious color by western sunsets. These are not the only wonders of the world. When we come to it, we, this people on this wayward floating body, created on this earth, of this earth, have the power to fashion for this earth a climate where every man and woman can live freely without sanctimonious piety, without crippling fear. When we come to it, she said, we must confess that we are the possible. We are the miraculous. We are the true wonders of this world. That is when and only when we come to it. So this morning we have come to acknowledge that during this week of the young child, we've come to recommit ourselves to doing everything within our power to prevent child abuse in this county. Today is a day that we come to get refueled, not just with coffee, but get refueled to recommit ourselves to making a positive difference in the lives of children and families here in this county. Each of us must ask ourselves, what more can I do to create a community that supports families, no matter how they define themselves? A community that ensures protection for every child within the family. Every day, children are born in Person County who are potential candidates for DSS caseload. How can we ensure that DSS will never see them? We must make it possible, and we must make it our mission to go about our community and remove any barriers that prevent healthy and safe living for children. Just yesterday, I looked at the statistics there at the office, and I found that currently there are 66 children in care in Person County who are represented by our Guardian Ad Litem program due to an adjudication of abuse or neglect. Our stats show that in your neighboring Caswell County, there are another 19 children in our caseload. So during this month of volunteer appreciation too, I'd be remiss if I didn't take the opportunity to thank our GAL volunteers, some of whom are here today, here in person as well as Caswell County. For those who advocate and have a heart for children, if that's your passion, there's always room for more volunteers GAL volunteers, and I see that whole table there shaking their head. And, you know, we have a fabulous group here that represents children in this county as well. So I'd like to take this opportunity, and if you will join me, and thank the GAL volunteers, if you would stand. Let's see you, because we appreciate the work you do. You know, we have to remember that often the best way to change the lives of children in our community is to provide assistance to the parents. Admittedly, the challenge that lies before us is to provide the assistance without being judgmental as to how these often young parents got into the situation in which they find themselves. Our focus has to be on the ultimate benefit that the children will reap. Marion Wright Edelman, who was the founder and president of the Children's Defense Fund, said that children need our caring presence and support when the adults in their lives cannot care for, fail, or hurt them. They need our rituals, our moral clarity, and examples in a faithful community of disciplined caring. And parents, and increasingly now grandparents, need our ongoing support as they try to raise children in these challenging times. There are many lessons that my wife and I, as well as our birth children, learned while we were foster parents in Wake County for some 10 years. And one of the things that we found is that children still cry themselves to sleep longing for a mother who doesn't understand what it means to care for them appropriately or safely. Children will sit on the well-manicured lawn of their foster home and still long to be back in the drug-infested housing project that they call home. The good life for a child is defined by his or her own terms. And if we don't expose them to family and the rewards of hard work and education, they will never know it. We have to remember that people who are poor and often uneducated are often too embarrassed to ask for help with parenting their young children. Dr. Eileen Linder once told the story. She took her car to Jiffy Lube for servicing, and not having anything to read, she picked up a manual on the table about boating. A chapter on the rules for what happens when boats encounter each other on the open sea described two kinds of crafts, the burdened and the privileged. The craft that had the power to accelerate and push its way through the waves, change direction, and to stop on demand is considered the burdened one. The craft that is dependent on the forces of waves to change direction, the craft that is dependent on the forces of nature, wind and the tide, and human effort to keep going is considered the privileged craft. So since powerful boats have to make their way forward on their own power, they are burdened with the responsibility to give the right of way to the powerless or the privileged vessel, which is dependent on the whims of tide, wind, and weather. So she thought, who wrote this? Billy Graham, maybe? Mother Teresa? And she thought to herself, what is going on in our land when even the New Jersey State Department of Transportation knows better than we do that the powerful must give way if the powerless are ever to make safe harbor? Important to remember. It's a story that I use all the time when I talk to legislators about the importance of supporting the Guardian Ad Litem program, because it is our job to make sure that these children have a happy, safe place, no matter what the odds that have been dealt them through the lottery of birth. We equally have to wrap our arms, our community arms around these parents, the parents of these kids who really do desire a better life for themselves, a better life for their children than they had for themselves. Story I read one time, and those of you who have small children, or who've ever had small children at one time will recognize and appreciate the fact that there was a story of a young boy was playing his PlayStation and he wanted his mother to play with him. And the mother was busy at the table doing something, and the boy kept saying, "Mom, come play the PlayStation with me." And so she said, "I'll be there in a minute." He kept interrupting her and said, "Mom, come play the PlayStation with me." And so, as she was reading the paper, she decided to give him some busy work. So she found a picture of the world, and she tore it up into little pieces. And she gave it to him, and she said, "Now you go back and when you put this back together, put the world back together, I will put the pieces back together, I'll go play the PlayStation with you." So after only a few minutes, he returned to his mother with the picture of the world all back together again. And the mother was stunned. And she said, "Now how in the world did you do that so quickly?" The son informed her that he saw a picture of a woman on the other side of the paper. When he put the woman back together, guess what? The world came back together too. I'm convinced that when we put those hurting, disenfranchised people in our community back together, through time, resources, and genuine caring, we will put their worlds back together. And in turn, we will have a healthier community. Our commitment must be for the long haul. It's got to go past April. It's got to go past a week. It's got to be for the long haul. Finally, I want to close with reading an excerpt from a book that a friend of mine wrote. Dr. Olson Huff is a retired pediatrician from Asheville. And I've had the privilege and pleasure of serving with Dr. Huff on our State Employees Credit Union Foundation Board of Directors. And, excuse me, Olson wrote this book some years ago. The book is entitled The Window of Childhood, Glimpses of Wonder and Courage. In this book, Dr. Huff tells 19 heartwarming stories that show how children tell us of love, joy, pain, death, hope, friendship, and the discovery of new things. I'd like to read finally in closing from chapter 4, which is called Listen to the Children. Dr. Huff talks about driving in a small community, and as it turns out, he was called to be an expert witness in a trial, he says. "I was there because of Emily and Audrey and Jack and Emery. They were not actually my patients, but their plight was the same as many who were or someday would be. Their parents were poor. They'd been abused, sexually molested, their frail dignity assaulted and their smiles erased. Frightened, they kept quiet, but their bodies gave away the secret. They had nightmares and they screamed and they soiled their pants and they wet their beds, and finally, in whispers, they shared their shame. But they were not believed. Well, for folks you know, Doc, besides, they're just young'uns and you know they don't tell the truth. I was here in this town to say something about children, to say no, they don't lie unless forced to do so. And no, being poor doesn't make them less worthy of protection or care. The case in question was not important as the very fact that such an event was even necessary. The children had been sexually assaulted. The professionals had no doubt of it. The pediatricians, the social workers, the teachers who had examined their bodies and had heard their stories, yet the townsfolk did not believe them. It was too much for the people on this narrow single street and the surrounding hills to accept. Such a happening could not be, not here, not in this place. Possibly in big cities, but not here. Here, each family and its history were known to all, and such things could not exist. Or the pain of disclosure would shelter the facade of decency. Deny it, stifle the fear it suggests, slam shut any door of reasoning that might force light into corners where darkness dwells. Your Honor, I move for dismissal These children are just making up stories, one counsel said. In the end, they said anything, responded to questions with whatever answer they thought would please, just to be free. Free from the overwhelming staring, the mass of strangers who filled this overflowing, ancient, dreary room, free of anything that reminded them of the awful reasons why they were here. Whatever they said did not matter. They were not believed. Like the roads of that town, we too are narrow and blind. The system that is supposed to protect and aid becomes the aggressor, abusing the souls of these children, and much as the accused has abused their bodies. We are blind because we cannot hear their feeble words trying to say how much it hurts. Blind because we do not see and know their anxious vulnerability. We do not worry that they may be harmed. After all, they're young. They'll grow out of it. Right. It's an epidemic, Olson says. This problem of child abuse, an epidemic in desperate need of a cure. Finally, he says, I tried to understand, despite any understanding of acceptance, however hard reality that could not hide behind the heels of ignorance remained. And surely as I had done, those children too would travel to a point in their lives where one day they would be believed. When we listen to children, we can listen to our own hearts and move to heal the brokenness we feel. When we believe children, we can believe in ourselves and can move out from behind the veil of denial and ignorance. When we value children, we can value ourselves and move toward others more openly and caringly. Perhaps, when that begins to happen, the children who live in the narrow towns may grow up to become confident and competent adults. That is our charge for all of us. Thank you for inviting me here today, and enjoy the rest of your week. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have one more thing to do. Charlene? Good morning. Good morning. I'm here to announce the 2017 Champion for Children recipient. This is never an easy decision to make because the partnership is supported by numerous entities and individuals. In nominating individuals for this award, the committee began thinking about what is entailed in being a champion for children. Our starting point was the definition of a champion. Merriam-Webster defines a champion as a militant supporter of, to uphold or advocate. The 2017 Champion for Children is an individual who is a vigilant supporter of children in Person County. The 2017 Champion for Children exemplifies the quote by Roy T. Bennett. When you start giving, instead of getting, you make a difference. You can always give a warm smile, a sincere hello, a positive vibe, your attention, your time, your love, and kindness to those around you. It is evident that the individual selected as our champion has a love for children. This commitment to children was fostered by his mother, who was an elementary school teacher in Person County. Each time that our champion stops by the partnership, he shares that his mother was influential in his dedication to children and giving back to the community. He recounts how much she loved all children and desired to see children succeed. Our champion desires to carry on this legacy with his unwavering support of partnership events. So today, we bestow the 2017 Champion for Children award to Mr. Fred Long. We would like to thank him for helping us build a better future for young children of Person County. take a picture or anything?
I was gonna say it, there's we can take a
Okay.
picture of it.
Y'all got a few more things to say. Thank you very much for coming out this morning.
Ann, Martha, Charlene, Mr. Wooten, thank you for your words. Fred, congratulations. Thank you for your commitment to the community. I just want to say a few words about the Partnership for Children, what they've done. You guys still do the Dolly Parton Imagination Library. Ann has always made sure that my kids were signed up for this. I have 3. And for a while there, they send out books once a month. Is that correct? Once a month they send out books. I got 3 kids. We were getting books more often than we were getting Courier Times. So as a kid, you have to change out their toys, their clothes, not as often as you change their diapers. So every so often, my mother-in-law would come up and we would give her old books and old clothes and old toys, and she would take them back to Morganton, North Carolina, for the church, and they'd have a church auction or church sale or what have you, whatever it was. And maybe 2 or 3 years ago, she came up in May or April, and we gave her a ton of books, ton of toys. And sometime in August or September, we got a letter in the mail. And it was a handwritten note from a little 6-year-old girl thanking us for the book from Alabama, because our address was still on the book. So somehow or another, one of the books that we signed up for through Partnership for Children, that my kids loved and read, we donated to a church in Morganton, North Carolina, made it to Alabama, and we got a handwritten note from a 6-year-old. So that's something what they do, and my kids love the books, and if you have kids, make sure you get them signed up because they'll love the books too. And maybe somebody in Alabama can love the books. But
One more thing before we leave.
one more thing.
Yeah, I'm sorry. As we leave, we would like to plant the Pinwell Garden. We have sticks out already planted. This will go right on top of there. If you'd like to place it or take one with you, please do. I'm sorry.
All right, guys, in regard to our next Good Morning Coffee Hour, mark your calendars for May 10th. That is next month. That's in about 3 weeks. Wow, right around the corner. This is going to be for Roots and Wings, Freedom House, and the ARC of Person County for Mental Health Awareness Month. The program will focus on lifetime effects of childhood trauma with Dr. Angela Tuno. That's what we think. I'm sure I've got it wrong. And she will be from the Duke Center for Child and Family Health. She'll be speaking for us that day. And that, guys, concludes our Good Morning Coffee Hour. Thank you for coming. Thanks to all our speakers, and I hope you guys have a great rest of the week. And do not forget the Pinwheel Garden. Take your umbrella, I think. Have a rainy day.